Hi, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host, just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona. And hopefully today with our picks and your picks, it's going to be another profitable day for you. How about November 21st, Tuesday? We're going to get into the basketball slate. Only 5 NBA games in tournament play games and all that kind of fun stuff today. Also, we will get into a couple of college basketball games we have pegged out, and they're both the big games later on today. So we'll get into the NBA slate first. Raptors at the Magic. Magic 2-point home favorite, 216 total. The Magic have turned into one of the better teams to turn you over, and the Raptors have been there for years. That kind of continues. So 216 total. You're going to see probably a lot of steals, I would assume, in this game, or a lot of turnovers, at least in that retrospect. Magic have been playing out of their mind. Toronto playing a little bit below what expected. So maybe a get-right chance for Toronto to kind of straighten this thing out, or the Magic to continue running on what they've been doing on that particular game there. Should be interesting one, to say the least. We do have 2 player props in that particular matchup is all we have. It's going to be Franz Wagner over 18.5 points for the Magic, and then also Paulo Banchero over 18.5 points for the Magic as well. We kind of expect the Magic to kind of continue this ride. I don't understand it. I don't think the team is more than a 30 to 35 win team, but they've blown past my expectations so far this season. When they win against the better teams, they have definitely showed, I think, a little bit more of their true colors, but they should be able to beat up on the not-so-good teams in the NBA, and that's probably what's going to happen today, and they're going to score a lot of points. So therefore, Banchero and Wagner over 18.5 points in that particular matchup for us. Next game up for us, Cavs-Sixers. 76ers somewhere between a 7.5, 8.5 point favorite. Total around 219, 220, depending on what book you're at. The 76ers are absolutely dominant at home. That's the thing I think you have to realize in this particular matchup here. We expect the same to continue. Not only that, the 76ers have been a great cover team, home or away. So we like the 76ers in this matchup quite a bit, and a couple player props. So 76ers minus 2.5 first quarter, minus 4.5 first half, minus 7.5 for the game. We also like 2 Embiid props. Joel Embiid over 1.5 blocks at plus money, because he's going against, I guess, the Tree Tower. So I don't know. Maybe he's not going to see as many blocks. I don't know. But Embiid over 1.5 blocks, and then Embiid over 45.5 par. That's points, assists, rebounds combined. And then we'll get into Tyrese Maxi over 34.5 par. In that particular matchup there. We're real tempted to take his over 3.5 threes, but we're going to stick away from that one on that. But Maxi has definitely sped up the pace of this Sixers team, which I think has helped. Is when they slow it down a little bit for Embiid to catch up, the problem is when you slow, they're a better team than most teams, so when you speed the pace up, it's more possessions, which should be a bigger win. I think that's helped to a lot of their covers. When Harden was there, not only Harden being a distraction, but he just slows the pace of play down. And when that happens, you get less possessions. I mean, with Maxi, they're probably getting an extra 10-plus possessions a game, which I think really helps to the cover side of it. So one more time in the 76ers matchup, 76ers minus 2.5 first quarter, minus 4 first half, minus 7.5 for the game. Embiid over 1.5 blocks. Embiid over 45.5 par, points, assists, rebounds combined. And then Maxi over 34.5 par, points, assists, rebounds combined. As those two seem to do a lot for their teams, and I think should be a definite help in this game here to beat the Cavs. Next game up, Pacers-Hawks. Let's see, in Atlanta, 3.5 point favorite for the Hawks, 251, 252 total, depending on where you're looking at, what book you're at, and the total's moving, and this will be the highest total you probably see. So getting this total, I think I think the over is where it's at. I think this could be one of those games we see in the 260s. To be really honest with these two teams, not a lot of interest in playing defense and have a ton of interest in playing fast. So we did get the Pacers at 251, but we also took Pacers Hawks over 62.5 total first quarter, over 124.5 total first half, and over 251 for the game. And then also Halliburton over 40.5 par. That's points, assists, rebounds combined. And we think he's getting there with the 3 ball, so we're going to take him over 3.5 threes, which is plus money as well. So make sure you check that out. DraftKings is the highest one I saw at plus 135 at over 3.5 threes. So one more time in this Pacer-Hawks game. Pacers over 62.5 total first quarter, over 124.5 total first half, over 251 for the game. Halliburton over 40.5 par, and then Halliburton over 3.5 threes made as well in that matchup. Next game up in the association, or NBA, or whatever we're going to call it, Trailblazers Suns. Suns 13-point home favorite, 223.5 total. The reason why we're staying away from this game is, especially player prop wise, the Suns could be up 30 going into the fourth quarter, and then everybody sits. It really affects all the player props, no matter what it is. If it's rebounds, assists, par, points, threes, not getting those extra minutes means a big difference. So we're going to stay away totally from this game. I could see one of two things happening. The Trailblazers somehow keep it close and make this a game, or the Suns blow them out and they're up, they win by 30. I don't think it's going to be a close cover either way. I just think there is pass, though, for the Trailblazers to cover in this matchup. Therefore, going to keep us a little bit away from this one on that one. Next game up is going to be, I do apologize. How about Lakers, Jazz? Lakers 7.5-point home favorite, 238 total. The Jazz they can put up some offensive numbers, and that's what we have one player that we have a couple props on tonight for this particular matchup. It's Lauri Markkanen over 23.5 points. And Lauri Markkanen over 2.5 threes. And if he keeps throwing up 9 threes a game, we got a great shot at this one. So once again, it's Markkanen over 23.5 points, over 2.5 threes made as well. The Lakers have been really good at home. I still think they're probably maybe a shade too slow for today's NBA, but that's okay. They seem to make it work. And it's all too dependent on what happens with Anthony Davis. And to be really honest, if you're going to bet the Lakers and you want the Lakers to win, you might as well bet over on the Anthony Davis props, because that's where you're going to see a majority of that laid. So on that one. So in that Jazz-Lakers game, Markkanen over 23.5 points and Markkanen over 2.5 three-pointers made. We will get into we've got 2 basketball today games we're focused on today. For Maui Invitational games, Purdue, Tennessee. Purdue came away, beat Gonzaga yesterday by 10, 3.5-point favorite over Tennessee. We do like Purdue again today. I just think as long as they can shoot much better than they did in the first half, this should be a good cover for them. Purdue minus 1.5 first half and minus 2.5 for the game. This line keeps moving as well. It was 2.5 on DraftKings earlier. Now that's up to 3.5. FanDuel's went up to 3.5. So get in early on this. Tennessee is a decent, they're more than a decent team. They're one of the better teams. I don't think they're maybe a national contender type team, but they're definitely floating in that 8 to 12 range, or 8 to 15 ranked team in the country. So Purdue minus 1.5 first half and minus 2.5 for the game in that particular matchup. The last game we got college basketball wise is Kansas Marquette game. 2 top 5 teams. Kansas minus 4.5. Right around, depending on what book you're at, I think 4.5 is probably going to be the norm. Marquette played a nail-biter yesterday with UCLA. Kansas really wasn't tested with Charminade, but KU was tested in the Kentucky game earlier in this season, where Kentucky shut the lights out from three-point range, and they got a loss in the State Farm Classic. But we are going to ride out KU. Normally they don't lose 2 big games in a row, so we'll go KU minus 1.5 first half and minus 4.5 for the game. One more time in that one. KU minus 1.5 first half and minus 4.5 for the game. So at the end of this episode, in the comment section, you will see a link to the Google Sheets, as we call them. It's basically what it is. It's Google Sheets. It's like Excel. Basically, you just go down, you'll see where it says docs.google. That's going to be the link to get in there. We have 4 sheets currently working on this actual program. So the basketball bets are obviously going to be under basketball 23-24, and just scroll down to November 21st. And all those bets we just told you about will be there, what juice we got those at, how many units, and then what book we placed those at. We're probably still we'll look at some other games, so make sure you do check that out. That'll have our fully updated list. We put out the videos to kind of give you the big rundown of what we got going on, period. So, but we do try to, we add some trinkets here from time to time, depending on information that comes out from, the teams or whatever. As a lot of times basketball, it's last minute, so or at least in the last hour going into game time. So make sure you check that out when you get some time. You can also see what we've done if you're into football betting as well. We've also got the football bets there. We are going to have another episode today going through some of the college bets. And as always, if you subscribe and get notifications to the YouTube channel, so when we drop our bets, you get those first. Makes it extremely easy, especially when you got notifications on and you're subscribed. You'll get a notification to your phone or device letting you know Sports Bets for Free has dropped a video bet, basically going through those. So that'll give you all the time you need in order to match them up with your bets and give you a ton of confidence heading to that betting app or betting window. We do our best to get these out as early as we possibly can. Unfortunately, we can't get them out as early as we want to all the time. But we try to get them out early, give you plenty of time to do so. I do appreciate everybody's support as always, and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.